Hello, welcome to your help video for quiz 5.08. Alright, so what do you need to know to be successful on this quiz? You need to remember vertical angles. Remember, vertical angles are always congruent. You need to remember the linear pair postulate. So if two angles form a straight line, then their measures are supplementary, meaning they add to 180. You also need to remember the sum of the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. And then this is a new thing. This is a little shortcut. The two opposite interior angles will add together to give you the exterior angle. Now, if that's a lot to memorize for you, you don't have to memorize it. I'll show you how you could do it without memorizing that. Okay, so this first one just says, what is the value of x? So we have a triangle. We know the sum of the interior angles has to add up to 180 degrees. So we're just going to add them and set them equal to 180. So we're going to go ahead and do 55 plus 80, which is 135. And then to solve for x, we need to subtract that from 180. Now, I wrote out the equation. You definitely don't have to write out the equation. A lot of people just know to add the two angles and subtract from 180. Either way, I get x equals 45 degrees. All right, let's look at the next one. What is the measure of angle D? All right, so our ultimate goal is to figure out angle D. Well, I see two triangles here. I see this triangle, and I see the one above it. And if I just look at the yellow triangle, I don't have enough information yet to figure out angle D. So I'm going to have to go up and deal with the green triangle. Now notice in the green triangle we have two of the angles and we're only missing one of them. Oops, that was a stray mark. So we could find the missing angle of the green triangle by adding them up and subtracting from 180 like we just did. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add 14 plus 45. And then we get 59. And we're going to subtract that from 180. And again, we're just finding the missing angle in the green triangle. This is not our answer yet. So now I know that this angle is 121 degrees. Well, how does that help us figure out the yellow triangle? The reason that helps us is because we have vertical angles. Notice 121 and this side are vertical angles, so we know this one also has to be 121 degrees because of vertical angles. And now looking at the yellow triangle, we have two of the angles. We can find the missing one by adding them up and subtracting from 180. So we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to add the two angles that we have, which is 148, and then we're going to subtract from 180 to find that missing. And so angle D is 32 degrees. That's our final answer. All right, let's check out this one. It says, what is the measure of angle M? So that's my ultimate goal, is to figure out that angle. Well, this one's a little different because it has x's, but we still know the sum of the angles, interior angles, has to add to 180. So I'm going to take each of the angles, x plus 6, plus the next angle, x, plus this angle, 3x minus 16, and I'm going to set those equal to 180. And then I just have some solving to do. Anytime I see an x without a number in front of it, I like to go ahead and put a 1 there. And then I'm going to work on combining my like terms. So 1x plus 3x, that would give me 5 x's. And then 6 minus 16, that would give me a negative 10. From here, we can just finish solving the equation. We need to get the x by itself, so we got to get rid of negative 10. The opposite of minus 10 is to add 10. So 5x equals 190. And then right now, we're multiplying by 5, so the opposite is to divide. So 190 divided by 5 equals 38. Now be really careful. This question does not say solve for x. It says, what is the measure of angle M? So we're not done until we plug it back in and figure out the measure of angle M. So we're going to take and plug in our x value to M to figure it out. So 3 times 38 minus 16 is 98 degrees. So the measure of angle M is 98 degrees. All right, so this one says, what is the measure of angle CAD? So we have this new property that says that you can add the two opposite interior angles to equal the exterior angle. But to be honest, I don't have the best memory, so I don't always remember that. If I was solving this problem, I would probably just figure out this interior angle by adding my other two angles up and subtracting from 180. So just like we've been doing in every other triangle, when we know two of the angles, we can add them up, excuse me, and subtract to figure out the third angle. And then once I know that third angle, I can see that these two angles together form a linear pair. And a linear pair has to add up to 180. So again, I could take 180 and subtract 80 to figure out that my exterior angle is 100 degrees. Now it is a shortcut. If you remember that new property, adding the two remote or the two opposite interior angles is a shortcut. You could have just said 80 plus 20 and gotten there faster. I just don't have the best memory, so I wanted to show you the other way to do it if you can't remember that. All right, so the last one. Let's fill in what we know. It says the measure of angle DAB equals 110. So I'm going to go ahead and trace that out. D to A to B. So the exterior angle here is 110 degrees. Then it says the measure of ACB, so let's trace that one out. A to C to B. So this angle right here is 20 degrees. It's kind of hard to see. Oops. And then it says, what is the measure of angle ABC? So this is the angle that we're looking for. Okay, so you got a couple ways you can go about this. If you remember the new property that the exterior angle equals the sum of the remote interior, you could just take 110 and subtract off 20. And so we know that this angle has to be 90 degrees. But let's say that you didn't remember that. All right, so 90 degrees will be your answer, but let's just say that you didn't remember that property. You can always go back to supplementary angles or linear pair. This is a linear pair right here. So we know to find angle A, we would do 180 minus 110. So that would be 70 degrees. And then we can add the two angles that we know, 70 plus 20, and subtract from 180 to find the missing angle. So either way you do it, you're going to get that the measure of that angle is 90 degrees. So just pick your favorite method and use it. All right, y'all, good luck on your quiz.